Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast. We're on to episode 94. We're done with the shirt numbers, as I tell you in the last episode. We no longer have any shirt numbers, so rest in peace to that opening minigame. So for the time being, I guess we can try and go through the top goal scorers for each year. So, boys, 94. Season 1993-94, who finished this? That was a badging, by the way. Yeah. We finished, here's some clues for you. We finished 4th in the league that season. Not even 3rd, 4th. We got knocked out in the we got knocked out in the 3rd round of the Scottish Cup, and we got knocked out of the semi-finals of the League Cup. Well, we did better then. And in the UEFA Cup, we only made it to the 2nd round. So can you tell us who? Top scorer. Go, Ryan. You should know this, mate.
How so?
Because you should. Anybody that knows the answer back home knows exactly why you should know the answer.
Back home?
You got a first name, right?
Back home?
Pat McGinlay.
Really?
Pat McGinlay
Wow.
was the top scorer.
I sound like I'm related to him.
with 12 goals.
Wow.
So that was a marker to try and beat that season quite clearly. So there you go. Well done to anybody going at home. But we're back for the review of the derby. And the
transfer reviews as well.
Everything. We've got the whole review of the past week here, but we're going to try and fly through things tonight because Calum at the end of the table's no well. Ryan's you got work in the morning.
And I'm unwell as well.
And he's unwell, and I'm shattered. And it's your birthday tomorrow, so I'll start with you, Ryan McGinlay.
By the time that this is out,
it'll be your birthday. Happy birthday to McGinlay.
Thank you very much.
How you feeling being 1 year older?
Morbid.
1 year closer to your box.
That's it, absolutely. That's what we're all striving for. It's the end game, innit? Yeah, it's just, I don't really get excited about birthdays anymore. I say that as if I'm like a 7-year-old or something. No offence to any 7-year-olds watching, by the way, but
God.
I just don't really get excited.
Talking about 70-year-olds, right? You noticed in the last couple of episodes we've not heard from Phil.
You had to start us off using me a morbid, didn't you?
But we've not heard from Phil, and I'm worried about that because his last tweet wasn't great.
I think it's all still a bit.
It's shocking.
I think it's a bit.
But Phil, we've not heard from Phil. But who we have heard from is Calum Craig, who's back this week. How you doing, Calum?
Nice to be back. Nice.
Apart from being ill.
What was it, result to have? So the illness isn't too well, but try and pull through.
Are you looking forward to the release of the new top on Friday, the stores to go manic?
I'm not, no. Currently against my contract, I can't speak about that until Friday.
Oh, can you know?
No, I get into trouble when I mentioned it last week, so.
Did you?
Aye.
Oh, that's who's watching that? Bloody hell, poor boy. Aye, but that was one of the bits of news that actually came out this week very quickly. I mean, that kit is an absolute screamer, isn't it? It's coming out this week.
I've totally never seen that kit before. You know, I've not seen it in the past 4 months or so. It's been like the worst kept secret in Celtic sort of news or the Celtic Twitter sphere or whatever. I know there's already copy versions going about that. Yeah. Some pretty decent copies. Well, not to do your company out of some cash, but there are some decent copies as well.
Have you pre-ordered it?
Nah.
You're leaving it.
Again, I'm too old for football talk.
You're never too old for football taps. You know me, I collect them, man. I've even got this one on the day. No, there's nobody on the back.
Nah,
no,
we know
there's no.
Did you go and scrape it off? Deadline day.
Aye, right, okay.
Did you go and scrape it off on deadline day?
Actually. Calum, have you pre-ordered yourself one, Calum?
I have not, no. I was usually just going to take mine for the stock window, to be honest.
No, you didn't pay for it? That's mine, cheers. She's little as. Aye, so that was announced, but on better terms and more interesting conversation, we have the small matter of derby success to talk about, lads, because at the weekend, it was Rangers 0, Celtic 1. the meltdown has been fantastic, and the celebrations on our side have been equally as fantastic. It was a game that we were all a bit nervy for. There was a little bit of worry floating around there, but in the end, Celtic remain on top in this city and remain on top of the league. So yeah, but it's been a few days now, and I'm sure we don't want to rehash all the same conversations we've already had, but it's nice to come together and talk about these things. So Ryan, I'll kick off with you, mate, and I'm not going to just go into any certain part of the or specific part of the game, I should say. Just give me your overall thoughts now that we're a few days removed from the derby success.
At the moment, Matt O'Reilly's the best player in Scotland. I think 5 out of 5 man of the match performances. I know Liam Scales put in a great performance against Rangers, but Matt O'Reilly is running things at the moment in that midfield. Helped, of course, by the return of Celtic's brilliant captain. Where has he been for the past 3-4 games? But he's back. What a performance. It was a game that I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I was dreading this game because of the injury crisis. It just so happens one of Celtic's best players was somebody that benefited from those injuries, in Liam Scales, who had a real breakout game for Celtic. I'm not saying he's the long-term answer, but he did a really, really good job when there was quite a challenge facing, because it was a basically fully fit Rangers team he was coming up against. And you're going into the Lions Den. I know you could put that Steven Gerrard quote in there. But, Rangers were at basically full strength apart from Barisic, which was a shame because I quite like Barisic playing in those games. But, yeah, they came out the other end and they got the win. No complaints whatsoever. Better team won on the day, I would say, in terms of the chances created. If Celtic were more efficient in front of goal, they would have won it by a couple more. And I think that just shows you the strength of the squad. There's been there's been quite a few dismal results, a lot of negative comments, but they deserve their credit where it's due. And that performance really was it was mixed, but they got the result. They got the job done in the end, and I don't think anyone can complain, to be honest.
No, absolutely not. Calum, hard to complain, especially with the circumstances heading into the game. I'll ask you, there's me, knock my mic away. I'll ask you the same question that I asked McGinlay, just your general thoughts a few days on.
I mean, at the time, if we had recorded last week, I'd have to come on here and tell the barefaced lie. I think I was going to say we'd take a result. I even said it to my younger cousin. I was watching the game before it started and the lineups came out, and I said, I generally will be lucky to walk out here with a 3-1 if we get beat by it. I just did not fancy it at all, especially with obviously the inexperience of Lagerbielke and Scales and the two centre backs. But I mean, two of them more than proved me wrong. I'm happy to eat my words by that point.
And Brendan Rodgers, who came under a lot of heavy criticism in the last couple of games, he got it spot on, Cal. Especially with that weakened side. I think you could say that, considering the opposition you're going up against, being at Ibrox with no away support, all these factors taken into account, I think Brendan Rodgers done a pretty nail-on job in setting up that team on Sunday.
Definitely. I think we even said at the point, I'm sure it was like Jordan, he had said, what a bit of draw, halfway to a draw. Again, the minute you see that team, you think, you come here taking a point from them, that's massive. In terms of it still keeps us above them as well at that point. And I'm just fair fucks to Brendan Rodgers pulling off a performance like that, so I can say.
I mean, the interview that he done for the pre-match press conference was very, very telling. Like, I listened to that on Friday night, Saturday morning, one of the two. I can't remember exactly when I listened to it, but I listened to it, and he once again pulled me in, as he always does. You know me, Rodgers' biggest fan, and he said this, Ryan. He said he knows how to win. He'll show the players how to win. The body of work hopefully shows that my team have always been aggressive, on the front foot, attacking, creative, fast, powerful, and that team over time will be that as well. Is this now the catalyst to make this team all of those things?
Yeah, you see, when I heard those, obviously with my work, I transcribed that interview when it came out. When I seen those quotes from Brendan Rodgers, I was like, this is the Brendan Rodgers I've been waiting for. I think there's this Brendan Light that was going about. Mm-hmm. This is the full fat Brendan Rodgers.
The full fat Brendan Rodgers.
No, he's not fat.
That's Michael Beale, thank you very much.
Maybe the Swansea version of Brendan Rodgers, I don't know.
I've always thought that, I thought it was just me that imagined this, but did he know he used to be quite pudgy? He done well, didn't he?
Do you not remember the boxing competition?
Aye.
When he left Liverpool, he lost quite a bit of weight.
Aye.
Yeah, he's
But this is the good full fat version of Brendan Rodgers.
yeah, like the mentally fat one.
Which is the worst like figure of speech we've ever used to describe a manager.
I know, but
The full fat
you,
version.
you get what I mean.
Aye.
Though. That's
It's not the
on
light
TikTok,
version. It's not the light version.
Maybe Todd Cantwell will see it if it's on TikTok. Yeah, it feels like the real Brendan Rodgers has arrived. Now I'm hearing Eminem in my head. The real Brendan Rodgers, please stand up. But yeah, that felt like the catalyst, and I feel like this result will be the catalyst for the rest of the season. There has been a couple of bad results. Luckily, one of them was in the League Cup. I know they get put out, but at the same time, it doesn't affect the league form. At the end of the day, and I think it's the same most seasons, the league is the bread and butter.
Yep.
You look at the rewards that Celtic could get if they finish first in the league. They'll get 8 games in the Champions League. That's a big revenue sort of source. They'll have even more games to play in the Champions League in the new Swiss model, and the chance for them to get a knockout place is even greater, because then they'd only need to finish above 4 or 5 teams to get in that playoff spot.
Yep.
It's one big league system. You know, Celtic will fancy their chances, and 4 points to be 4 points in front after the international break, considering the fact that Celtic have not started the season well and have not been playing well. I think that's such a great achievement, and it's a wee bit lucky, but at the same time, we'll take it.
Yeah, and Calum, we're talking about Brendan Rodgers getting things together and really showing that side of Celtic at the weekend and the way we set up, but you could see it in the players as well. I feel like everybody just stepped up that mentality a wee bit, like especially McGregor and O'Reilly in the midfield that we've already spoke about, but you've seen it in the images after the game as well, how much it meant to the likes of Tony Ralston, who was caught in camera celebrating and all the rest of it. Like, you could see the real switch in mentality from only a week prior where it looked as though nobody could be bothered. And there was all this concern that Brendan Rodgers was going to go back to Lennoxtown and players were going to want away and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, they come out the gates at Ibrox in front of no support, like no Celtic fan in the building, and they show that. It shows that they've obviously bought into what he's doing.
100%. I think, as Ryan touched on sort of just before it was nice to see Calum McGregor back to that, like, his usual self. He was happy. He was going and taking the ball from the centre backs on the half turn and then spreading out for there. Matt O'Reilly as well was in the second half. There's a point he comes in, wins the ball, but then just steps back, just leaves it to McGregor to go and drive forward. But it's nice to see the players now doing this. You can only hope. Obviously, it's came out of a bit of a pain. It comes into the international break, but you can only hope sort of the players that aren't away and they're stuck at Lennoxtown, that sort of squad harmony keeps continuing and kick on again with the league.
See that double pivot of McGregor and O'Reilly, because O'Reilly was playing deeper against Rangers. That's the European too.
How good's that going to be though? When, like, I know I've not seen him play, but think about that with like Paulo Bernardo in there. I think that could be really good.
Hatate.
Or Hatate. Oh yeah, I mean, I keep forgetting Hatate's actually. Yeah.
Made such a he made a telling impact. You see, for a debut at Ibrox, I know he only played for 20 odd minutes. That tackle at the end wins Celtic the game. He puts his body on the line to get that tackle in and to get the ball back. Wins it clean as a whistle, and he effectively wins Celtic the match because they get possession back. Yes, the referee blows the whistle about 3 or 4 seconds later, but without that, Rangers could have put another cross into the box. That's their main strength, putting crosses into the box. I think you could even go to Dyson Maeda as well, who had a really good performance, a bit of an underrated one. Not everything came off for him in an attacking sense, but on the defensive end, they totally negated anything that Tavernier wanted to do. He had no space whatsoever. The only time he could put balls into the box was in set pieces, and that's because Dyson Maeda wasn't allowed to get near him for a set piece scenario. Whenever Tavernier wanted to put a ball into the box, the boogeyman and Dyson Maeda was there. And
the boogeyman came back. Oh my god!
I just think I was calling for Lewis Palmer to get the nod.
I know.
Off, but when you think about it and what Dyson Maeda brings you on the defensive end, especially when there's so many players out on the defensive side of things, he's so important. He's
such a weird player at times, because he was somebody that through the game I kept saying to my dad, like, oh, you've got to bring on Palmer, because I didn't think Maeda was bringing anything to the game, but that's because you're only looking at it from a purely attacking standpoint. You're not looking at it in any other way. You're like, right, you're wanting to see goals, you're wanting to see opportunities, but what he was doing in that game arguably was more important. It might have not been there for you to see directly on the eye, but you know, when you go back and analyse, you see, as you've been talking about McGinlay, what he actually does bring to the game. So, yeah, a lot of big contributors. As you said, Auld and Thiago home with the tackle at the end. We're talking about match winners. Then there's one guy who we can't ignore because the man who did win us the match, Kyogo, my oh my. Calum, you were talking a bit about him in the car on the way here. I don't know if you want to just rehash your thoughts on Kyogo and that strike before half-time.
I think it's just how well he takes it, because I think, as I said, as soon as it was in the back of the net, the first instinct thought was jump to celebrate, but I thought, he's playing too far on the shoulder. You think, you don't want to jump up and celebrate, even though you're in the house watching it. You thought, oh fuck, sit down, you're a bit raging.
Like the Rangers fans when they thought they were getting a goal.
Indeed. So I thought, no, wait. And then the minute you see the replay, the minute you see John Suter, that's the Fraser, jumped up, start celebrating, to take it so well, and the half volley, especially stretching for it as well. It's not as if it is just, it's came over the shoulder, it's fell perfect for him. He's in the extended part of his leg, finishes it perfect in the bottom corner. It's just, you just run out of things to say about him.
His record in derbies is getting better and better, Ryan.
6-6 this year.
6-6.
And he scored his first goal against Rangers in February of this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is Larsson-esque. I'm not scared to make that comparison. His numbers are up there with Larsson.
Well, I mean, somebody put out. Did you see the tweet earlier on? I'm going to actually bring it up in the chat because this was scary to me. Like, I cannot believe that we're actually at a point where, numbers-wise, you can compare the two players at this exact same point. I'm going to quickly, I'll let you go on with your point in a minute, but this is nuts. So, Kyogo and Larsson's stats compared at the exact same point. And now, can I just clarify before I go any further with this point, because I know people are going to be like, you're not comparing Kyogo with Henrik Larsson. Of course I'm not. Henrik Larsson's the greatest player in the modern age of Celtic Football Club. Like, he's the best player we've had, you know, since, you know, at least the 70s anyway. You know, he's unbelievable. But 88 games into both of their careers, Kyogo has 76 starts. Larsson had 87 starts. They both scored 57 goals. And assists, they're pretty damn close. Minutes per goal, Henrik Larsson 132 minutes per goal, Kyogo 101. Both playing 88 games. Like, it is crazy. The trajectory.
That 4-year deal looks a whole lot better now. My God, please stay for the duration.
I mean, what age would Larsson have been in his first 2 years at Celtic? Roughly a similar age. Roughly, yeah. It must have been roughly a similar age because he left Celtic at 33, something like that.
34, yeah.
So, like, you're looking at the trajectory if he stays fit. My God, God knows what we could be talking about in 5 years' time.
And the thing is, he's not going to lose the pace because I don't think he's rapid to begin with. I think all the pace is in Kyogo's head with his football IQ and his movement.
Yeah.
He's just so sharp and he sees things before other players do. Goldson must be having nightmares about him. How many times have we seen that? Like, Goldson, when he made that header and it was a weak header to Matt O'Reilly, he must have been like, oh no, because he knows what's coming next. Yep. Matt O'Reilly with a lovely cushioned header into Kyogo's path. Kyogo is the one player in Scotland that would take that on first time, I think, and be able to do it with that much precision and skill. He is this generation's Larsson for me. I don't think.
Oh, he is. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think it's too controversial to say that. 4.5 million, it's absolutely incredible stuff, and we're so lucky to have him. If he does something in Europe this season, then I think the comparisons can start to be made. I don't think he'll get to the same level of goals as Henrik Larsson did, because some of the seasons that he had at Celtic were absolutely frightening. You know, he took almost single-handedly Golden Boot. He took his team to the UEFA Cup final. But you know, I think Kyogo will be second in command when all is said and done in terms of the ranking. I think if he keeps this up over the next 3-4 years, he'll be second only to Larsson in modern day strikers.
Well, to move on we need to get on to this point. Because this is mostly going to be the conversation today, this game, even though we're a few days removed and people already know what we're thinking. But it wasn't the only goal that was scored in the game. In fact, there was 3 goals scored in the game. First one offside. But the one that we need to talk about, and the one that Rangers fans most eagerly are probably wanting to hear if they've listened to this point, was the Kmart Roof disallowed goal. I'm going to start off with just a simple yes or no. Calum, do you think it was a foul?
Yes.
Ryan, do you think it was a foul?
Yes, clear and obvious. That's why it got overturned.
Yes. So, Why, oh why are we in a world where Rangers are running at the SFA greeting?
2019 Rangers called for VAR to be introduced into Scottish football. They're now getting what they want. They're getting the right decisions in a big game, in a pressure-filled game. You've got to remember it's only home fans in the ground. VAR's got to be the intervention there, because otherwise, the crowd is going to be begging for that goal to stand. It's good that they've got VAR officials in a different place that aren't getting affected by all the noise that's going on around them. And it was the right decision at the end of the day. You can clearly see in the video that Lagerbielke is impeded by Dessers, who is one of the clumsiest players I think I've seen. Well, since Morelos, and he only left last season. The two of them are quite similar in that regard. They're both very clumsy footballers. But yeah, it was a foul. He fouls the man before he gets the ball. And that's why VAR's there, to make those decisions and to redo those decisions if they're the wrong one.
Calum, we've heard a lot of chat that Lagerbielke kicks Dessers and it should never have been a foul. From a footballing point of view, which was your reaction to it all?
For me, how many times have we seen it? You see it countless times down the Premier League, the Champions League, no matter what. Defender goes to clear the ball, striker steps in front, defender then plays the attacker's leg, kicks it from there and straight away it's a foul. That night it's always given.
Yep. So
why would it then be different in this case? They then try to say Lagerbielke plays his leg. See if he doesn't then step in front of it in the first place, making said foul. That doesn't happen. It's so infuriating that we've got to the point of we're saying, oh no, it should have been a goal for that, but it's clear that it's not. It's
even, there's even Rangers fans who are on the same page. Like, yeah, okay, fair enough, they might feel a bit aggrieved that the goal hasn't stood, but even I've seen a good amount online even talking about how this just feels like Michael Beale and the higher ups at Rangers are just looking for any excuse to we didn't lose the game, we were cheated.
All the anger's now directed at Michael Beale. It's clear from Twitter that is where all the anger is getting directed to, because they've had a pretty shambolic start to the season, both in Europe and in the league. I mean, that result against Kilmarnock especially. I know Celtic lost to Kilmarnock too. It shows they're a good side. They're going to be fighting for the top six come the end of the season, but both Celtic and Rangers shouldn't be losing to Kilmarnock in those games. Yep. And the fact that they've got 2 defeats already, 3 if you count the PSV game, it's a really, really poor start from them, and Michael Beale's under a lot of pressure. He's a manager that talks a lot. He certainly does talk a lot in the...
Talks far too much.
Maybe too much.
It was about to get very un-PG there. I was about to use some choice language, but he does talk quite a lot,
He does talk a lot. I thought maybe he would have got some media training in the summer to alleviate that, but it seems it hasn't worked.
Do you think media training exists at Rangers Football Club? Because it doesn't seem to exist within the management, the coaching. It doesn't seem to exist within the players, and I would stretch as far to say it's never existed between the higher ups either, because it just seems like it's always talk, and never walk. I don't think media training exists.
I don't think it exists for either side, to be honest, because you could.
Yeah, go home.
Other stuff. Home and, it's Haksabanovich's as well. It happens on both sides.
Listen, we will not befoul, or whatever the word is, Haksabanovich's name on this podcast, especially in relation to this conversation.
Soldier.
No, but in all seriousness, now it's created this huge meltdown. Rangers are away to the SFA, as they always do, the greeting-faced bastards. And I don't know what they expect to change from that. It just feels so useless, so pointless, so contradictory to what they wanted in this country. Like, is there ever going to be pleasing them? That's the question. I just feel like it's just going to be whinge forever.
Basically, what they're saying is use VAR, but use it in the way that we like it getting used. And if you don't like it, and if you use it in the way that we don't like getting used, which is the fair way, the proper way, then we're going to complain about it. At the end of the day, it's a foul.
Yeah. What I don't understand is, like, I made this point in my video the other day. Remember back in, I can't remember what fixture, what month the fixture was played, but it was at Ibrox, and remember Goldson gives it the DX cross chop up at his face, and the boss smacks his hands. The referee waves away, no penalty, no penalty given. And Celtic decided, you know what, we're going to say something about this, whatever. And the same people who are now loving this and lauding it up, that they're going in this, that, and next thing, they're the same people who were saying that Celtic are accusing them of being like cheating against us and all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, I feel like it's mind numbing at this point. Like, I try my best not to care, because I just feel like I can't be bothered getting dragged into it. But it has caused a meltdown. Calum, have you got any personal favourites from the meltdowns so far?
I don't know. There is a number of them. I think the call for for a group of fans to go up outside Ibrox this afternoon. That was probably my favourite one, I think. For that to have even been, like, somebody's actually sat and made that for a start.
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal. Obviously nothing did come of it, sadly. I thought that would have been phenomenal viewing on Twitter. I think it was see the fan that was giving Barry Ferguson abuse. Calling him a cheerleader. I think that has to be up there for me.
You're a cheerleader.
Surely that's a bit. Surely somebody.
It has to be, surely, but
There can't be
it's
somebody. Like
Go to
that.
attack him! It's so passionate. You let me talk now.
What's Graham Potter as well?
Aye. Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, you didn't see that happen with Brendan Rodgers when he was down south, did you? If I was on the other end, if I was Barry Ferguson, God forbid, if I was Barry Ferguson, I was on the other end of that, I think I'd be feeling the tension, man.
I think he done very well to bite his tongue. I imagine.
aye.
Sure, there's many other folks that weren't live on earlier.
I'm shocked
Need a
the
mouthful.
caller didn't start using some choice language.
I know.
I was
Very surprised.
but that's one of the best ones. I think there was the one that the guy started greeting on the Super Scoreboard. that was funny. I think my personal favourite is the conspiracy of the papal visit in 1982 being the cause for everything that's happened. Celtic's dominance. You seen that one, right?
No.
Have you not seen
No,
this?
that's
Have you not seen this? No. Have you not seen? Oh my god! So somebody on we all know follow, right? Obviously follow. So follow.
It's on the bear fat.
Somebody got into follow, right? And they they have claimed that the reason that Celtic are on top now and the reason that we're winning and the reason decisions go away and referees are on our side and all the rest of it is down to the papal visit of 1982. So I just need to find
1982.
when Pope John Paul came here.
Benedict was there earlier.
Well, apparently the one in 1982 set the tone, right? So
would it not be reversed though if the new Pope went?
well, here we go. This was Blue Nose, no Blue Nose, like he knows. So this was Blue Nose in the follow. He says it's all stemmed for the papal visit in 1982 when during his discourse in Bellahouston Park he told them to work hard, get educated and get into positions of influence in all areas that control life in Scotland, including politics, media, legal, police, local government to name a few. We have assisted their takeover by giving them jobs in areas we wouldn't previously have given them. And if anyone doesn't believe this, just check the names of sheriffs and more senior members of the judiciary and see the proportion of them when compared to the proportion of the population, as the OP observes their numbers in the press also. And don't start me about senior local government officers, Glasgow and Monklands councils probably being the most infamous. So apparently we've rose to power. Back when we couldn't get a job in the shipyards because of which school we went to, now we've set the tone.
I used to see Billy the Butcher's on follow.
So that was my favourite meltdown.
I don't understand that. I mean, like, I love
Apparently the Pope came
came
out here and he influenced the whole way of Scotland to put Celtic and Catholics on top, apparently. Which is just a fantastic conspiracy if you ask me.
Too much time in your hand.
I know, like, what gets, like, could you imagine waking up and, I don't bother with forums, I'm never on Kerrydale or anything like that, like, I don't think I ever will be, even in my older age, I don't think I'll ever be on, like, Kerrydale, but what possesses you to wake up one morning and go, you know what, I'm going to put that in the forum. Like, what goes through your mind?
That's the mentally ill. That's the folk that should not have access to the internet.
I know. That's like the ones that have been on Facebook too long and see that James English clip the other day, is like, your GPs, they don't tell you to eat well and watch your breathing. Like, that's literally the first question they ask you, James.
We don't accept him. I know he's a Celtic fan. We don't accept him. He's not
your
one
GPs,
of us.
when you go about your mental health, they don't ask you how you're eating. Yes, they do. yes, they do. Aye. So yeah, conspiracies all round. Rangers and meltdown. It's all a good laugh, isn't it?
So it all just happens, regardless. You know, I'm sure Rangers fans like it the other way about when they get a result.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and more dead rubbers than actual games. It must be said, but you know, they enjoyed their day in the sun in April. But we'll do the business when the business needs done, basically. Yeah.
Right, so I feel like I've covered all the aspects of the derby that I personally wanted to cover. So if you've got any other last points between the Perrys you want to raise up, if not, we'll move on to the half-time quiz.
Nothing that comes to mind.
Nothing that comes to mind.
Even after he made, I know it didn't result in a goal, but I thought Lagerbielke really did stabilise after that mistake. I thought he had a good game. Apart from that one, the two of them were good. Liam Scales was obviously the better player out of the two of them, but I thought Lagerbielke really did stabilise his performance after that mistake, which led to the disallowed goal. It's a difficult place to play your third game for Celtic in, but I thought he did okay.
Yeah. Well,
and he's a good player. He will be a good player.
Aye, absolutely. Let's hope so. Anyway, so that was that. That was the Derby chat, catch up, conspiracy theories, and meltdown of the weekend. I can't wait to do it all again in January. So December. Well, we're not going to come in and hug my knee and do a podcast, are we?
You never know.
I think I've got better things to do.
Wow.
During the day when you're pottering about.
I suppose, because during the day in Hogmanay is always a weird one, isn't it? It's just
sitting about waiting.
Just like when do I crack open the first
Do you know what?
beer?
That's like Christmas as well.
Christmas is miserable.
It's absolutely Boxing Day so much better when the
I'm
football's on.
a stooge. Say aye. I'm a stooge, a Scrooge. Christmas is nah. Especially I'm an only child. I'm 23. I'm grow up.
Only adult. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
I know.
Aye.
Right, we don't have a half-time quiz. Kieran has disappeared off the face of the earth because...
Weird way to talk about guitar.
So he messaged me about 2 o'clock this afternoon. He said, full-time quiz done and dusted. We'll do the half-time in an hour or so. Then at 6:30, he messaged me the full-time quiz and he said, rapid half-time incoming. So I don't know if he's done something and been lifted in the state of Qatar. So we only have a full-time quiz. But I'll change it up today, and to break us up nicely, I'm just going to put the full-time quiz on just now. I'm going to put it on for the half-time, and then we'll just end with Twitter questions for today's episode. So Calum, this is your first time actually playing with the new league table format. So it's your chance to get points in the board and move. Well, you could technically move above me because I've got no points. And I think you could be level with Kieran Auld if you win. But McGinley's got a chance to go 4 for 4 today. So, Calum, please do us a favour.
I don't fancy my chances. I'm not about you. My head's mush still.
I can't stop winning.
Nah, you're right.
I'll say that and I'll lose now.
We are getting tired of winning.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
We're tired of winning. We're going to win some more.
Sellik the Thunder.
We're never tired of winning, baby. Right, so Calum, because it's your first time playing in quite a while, and the first time on this new league table format, I'm going to ask you, would you like to go player A or player B?
Player B.
Player B.
Sometimes.
So, Ryan,
watch this. This will do me. This will do me dirty now.
You know you're going to get all the tough ones there. McGinlay, you're going to be player A. So here is your summary for today's quiz. Okay. Kieran has told us, and much like Rangers title challenge and Champions League hopes, it's time to bring this to an end with a full-time quiz. It's obviously not full-time today, but I couldn't leave it that wee joke. He says, given the fact we've had the draw and the Derby game, today is going to be focused on Derby Day in Glasgow and our 3 opponents in the Champions League. So,
okay.
Are you both ready?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, player A, Ryan McGinlay. Who assisted Kyogo's winner on Sunday?
I mentioned it too.
I know.
It's Matt O'Reilly.
That is Matt O'Reilly, correct. I was
4 goals and assists this season. Yep. Player of the season that's happening.
And Kieran also added into the answer, who for this bear was out fucking standing.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Agreed.
Right, okay.
What a player.
Callum Craig. The VAR goal, which Rangers have literally taken to the SFA next week, was due to a foul on Lagerbielke by which player? Dessers is correct. Who Kieran has also added in, who I can describe in the most honest way as someone seeing him in a full game for the first time as a pure fat prick. So very nicely put, Kieran. Professional as always.
He's not great, is he?
He's not great, no. Must have Bill Scuddies or something. How's he staying on the park 90 minutes? Like, what's going on?
The thing is, I was doing an analytical piece after the game, and Danilo had 5 shots in like a half an hour, 25 minutes he was on the pitch. Why are they not playing Danilo?
Oh, that's weird.
Did they not pay like
Scuddies.
6 million?
Tell you, Scuddies. That is. Right, Ryan, to go up 2-1. It's 1-0 to start us off. According to Flash Score, how many shots did Celtic have? Was it 4, 5, 6 or 7?
7.
Incorrect.
6, isn't it?
5.
I
Two,
thought it was 7.
2 in the first and 3 in the second, according to Flash score. So there you go. McGinley's away to that. I'm not having this. I'm not having this. Right, Calum to take the lead. This is big. We need McGinley to lose, man. Following Sunday's usual service, we are now locked on 8 goals as the most in the league. With which? Oh, so 2 teams in the league are on 8 goals. Us and who?
Tim, I wish I actually looked at the league table. Like, season's TSF out the window.
Oh,
Don't care for any
oh,
other team.
who's
It's like,
signing who? I have no idea.
Motherwell?
No, that would have been my guess as well.
I thought just well.
No, the answer's St Mirren.
What?
St Mirren are on 8 goals. So there you go.
Live score says they've got 4. I mean, I would have been wrong anyway, but
well.
in terms of goals
They've
or
got
shots on and off target.
Right, McGinley, chance to take the lead after Calum's slip. True or false? Feyenoord's league winning campaign started with a stunning 7-0 defeat in pre-season.
Feyenoord?
Yes, did they lose 7-0 in pre-season?
False, no chance.
It's true. They got
Against who?
I was going
Copenhagen. Pumped them 7-0 in pre-season.
It must have been like an under 15s team or something flying up out, surely.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking the opposite because you see teams in maybe Austria like playing against like these jobber teams from the
Yeah,
fifth division.
aye.
They get their strikers used to scoring for the season. see, like I think it's always at the start of the season. Rapid Vienna, I've always beat a team like 16-0
Aye.
from like a 7th division Austria.
It's like when you watch the Bundesliga teams playing like the 8th tier in the first
Yeah,
round of the
yeah.
cup
That was like
at the
Bayern
start
and
of the
all,
season.
wasn't it?
Aye.
The
Oh,
pre-season
their
game.
pre-season they won like 14-0 or something.
Something stupid.
Jesus. Right, Calum, you can actually take the lead here. Celtic lost the 1970 European Cup final 2-1 to Feyenoord. Who scored Celtic's goal that night?
Oh, I genuinely do not know whatsoever. There's no point in even trying to hover over this. So,
You may as well guess one of the lines. I mean, it was only 3 years later.
Johnson.
No, it wasn't Johnson. Ryan? Oh, come
Stevie
on.
Chalmers.
No.
Bobby Lennox.
No, but you were close in the sense that it was a scorer from the 67 final. It was
He scored in both. Aye.
Tommy Gemmell. Tommy Gemmell. Tommy Gemmell did score in 67, didn't he?
Yeah, he scored.
Aye, I was sat there. I didn't make a
scored.
cock of that, did I? I was like, oh, if you know your history, lads, come on. Aye, it was Tommy Gemmell. I can feel
not a
people
good one.
screaming at that one. Right, Ryan. Question 4.
That's an absolute shannon.
Aye.
Question 4. Who was the last player to win both league titles with Celtic and Atletico Madrid?
Moussa Dembele.
Yes, good answer. Well done. Well done. Calum, what was the score the last time Atletico Madrid visited Celtic Park in the Europa League in 2011?
Jesus fuck.
I didn't even know we played them in 20. Well, I did, but I can
remember.
remember.
3-0.
No, it was actually quite close. It was
2-1.
1-0.
1-0.
1-0
Falcao
Atletico.
scored.
Yep.
Kyle get dogs abuse in the media the next day because he ducked over the free kick. But
Right.
Falcao, see Falcao and his pomp,
Player and a half.
unbelievable man.
McGinley, you could win, and you could go 4 for 4 if you get this question right. We can all remember the scorers in Rome and our goals at Parkhead. But who scored Lazio's goal at Celtic Park that night?
Oh no, it's in my head.
I wouldn't get this one. I know who scored the Rome game.
An away game.
That was Immobile.
Aye.
But I don't know who. I wouldn't have remembered who scored at Parkhead that night.
No.
So annoying.
It's a
You can
winger
picture
too.
the
It's
goal
a
on the
winger
break.
too.
Aye.
It's a winger. It's not a Cherby. Is it something like Cataldi or something like that?
No. Manuel Lazzari was the scorer. So Calum, if you get this right, you'll take it to the tiebreaker question. So
be honest,
it's
it's not happening
a
at
big
all.
one. Well, if you've kept your eyes open and you've like looked at things and you even looked at Serie A last season, you might
I can
get it.
keep myself awake the full day yesterday. Let them keep my eyes open and anything else, mate.
This one,
Keep them on there.
I never realised till today that they actually did manage this. But where did Lazio finish in Serie A last season?
Second.
Correct.
Was that?
Well
Oh,
done.
fuck.
Second. They finished second. I thought they actually ended up finishing third, but it turns out they pipped Milan by like a point or something like
And
that.
then
So,
Juventus. They,
yep. So second.
Which
Do you think they'll be getting anywhere near that this season? They are not good.
Well,
Nah.
it's time for the.
Jai said that the other night.
They were apparently like amazing and like against Napoli. They were
They said
apparently
Napoli's got Garcia
superb.
in charge. He's not good. So
Garcia.
Rudy Garcia, remember the
Garcia.
Ronaldo's boss at Al Nassr, but he was also like the Marseille manager at one
Oh,
point.
that's right. Aye,
It's
right.
a real step down. In
Aye, it is.
quality.
It's a sabbatical he's on, isn't it? Like he's coming back, Spalletti's, you know.
He's the Italian manager.
Oh, is he? Did he take all because Mancini got the sack, didn't he?
No,
Or,
he's
he
not
got
allowed
it
to
to
Saudi
Saudi
Arabia.
Arabia. Aye, same thing. Right, aye, it's basically aye. Right, tiebreaker. And funnily enough, Kieran has said I can feel Kieran Auld shaking his head at what's coming next. Kieran's not here, so Calum, you can
I
shake
just
your
need to
head.
shake my
for
head in.
Amongst the 4 teams in our Champions League group, how many league goals combined did we all score last season? So that's Feyenoord, Atletico, Lazio and Celtic combined in the domestic campaigns. How many goals did they all score? McGinlay, you're up first because you were player A.
425.
Right, okay. Calum.
379.
I can tell you that the winner this week and closer to the correct answer is... It's Calum Craig.
Oh.
Well done.
We take your tap-ins.
Funnily enough, the correct answer, you said 425. Correct answer was 325. So
I'm giving Atletico a wee bit too much credit.
I see, that's what I thought. They just played.
so it was 81
Defensive
goals. 81 goals for Feyenoord, 70 for Atletico, 60 for Lazio, and 114 for Celtic.
See, I'm thinking of these like Celtic.
I know.
you forget that Celtic are up here monopoly.
So aye, that's the quiz. Well done, Calum. I'm the only person left on 0 points on my own podcast. It's not fair. Do you know what the worst part is? Like, I think on one of them I got like 4 right as well, and I'm like, any other week.
Was there not one that I got
I think you beat me 5-4, and I'm like, any other week I'd have won. But aye. So I'm going to. I know we've got a few things to talk about. What I'm going to do is, Cam, what time are we on the machine? Can you read that upside down?
43.
43. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on to the Twitter questions, because I think that most things that we probably want to talk about will be covered in questions for today. So I'm going to try and get this done under an hour, and see if we can do that. So let's go on to the Twitter questions then. Dougie opens us up with saying, have you guys enjoyed the Bears meltdown? Calum?
A bit too much, some might
Too
say.
much. He also followed up with an actual question for us to discuss. Where do you think the performance of Liam's... Where do you guys think that performance, plus the good pre-season, leaves Liam Scales?
I think still on the bench really once the team's fully back to fitness. Don't get me wrong, fair play to the boy. It's a phenomenal performance he's went and put in for what's expected of him, what was asked of him. Don't get me wrong, fair play to him, but I think once you've got the likes of your Navrokis, Carter Vickers, Nat Phillips, Nat all back in, and I think the place is back.
It feels harsh in saying it, doesn't it, McGinley? It feels really harsh in saying it, but
It's harsh,
but it's just reality, isn't it? Like, I think that Celtic fans, and this is no disrespect to Scales at all, I hope he still gets his odd chance here and there. I really do. I think he's got something to play for and something to show when it comes along. But as Celtic fans, we should have learned by now, and we're not naive to know that one good performance doesn't mean that that's you. We've done this dance so many times, and it's never paid off.
No, it's one of these ones where I think the situation in which Scales found himself in, where he had to defend pretty much the whole game, or for large majorities of the game, that's good, because he had to do that at Aberdeen for certain games as well. There's not many games that you'll have to do that at Celtic. At Celtic, you're going to be a defender. You have to be a defender that's able to play on the front foot, that's got to be able to play passes quickly, that good on the ball, beat a man sometimes as well. His role was sort of reverted back to like a normal centre half, in which his role was to defend and to clear the ball. I think he had 11 or 12 clearances in the whole game, so that just shows you that he did his job well.
Which is kind of followed up by Anthony Devine, who's always in. Thanks, Anthony. He says, despite all of that, basically his question is it going to be Lagerbielke and Phillips when we return? Do you think it will be?
until Carter Vickers and Nawrowski come back.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty solid lineup, to be honest. Nat Phillips did a good job. We've not even spoke about him on the podcast since he signed. Not even talked about the deals that we did over the past week or so. But solid. Yeah, I think he's solid enough. He it was weird watching his highlights because it was like going back to the COVID season, because all of his highlights were in front of no fans at all. That sort of Cruyff turn he did in the San Siro. I don't know if you could do that at Ibrox. I mean, we all thought he was going to come back.
Yeah.
He come straight into the team.
Yeah.
Rodgers had a plan. He said he wasn't going to play at all. He knew that was going to be the case. And Scales did a good job. But I'm looking forward to seeing more of Phillips, or any of Phillips. I've not seen any of them yet. Hopefully Dundee will be that chance to see him for the first time.
Now, here's a question. Were any of you at the game against St Johnstone last week?
I don't know, I was in work.
No, you at work. Well, I don't know if this question applies to any of you in. Adam, the lad, always in. He directed this question at Kieran because he knew that Kieran had one. But thoughts on the kebab pie? Have any of you had it yet?
I've not, no, but heard
Good things. Right.
No, I prefer a steak pie when I'm at Celtic Park.
I'll speak on Kieran's behalf. He said it was outstanding.
Wow.
And I'll speak on my own behalf in saying it smelt fantastic. Like, it's heavenly. So I think I'm going to get one against Dundee. Has to be done. The only off-putting thing is that big bloody badge on the top of it. It looks like mould. I thought Kieran was walking back with a mouldy pie. I was like, forget it in a bin, but it's the badge, apparently. So that was his first question, Adam. Sorry, Kieran's not here for you this week. But Adam's asked his actual question, his serious question. Not that the first one's not serious, but he's yes. You're looking for. Are we looking forward to Europe now after that result with our players gradually coming back from injury? Do you think we can challenge for third? I'll start with you, Calum, at the far end.
You'd want to see him obviously big heading, so that's what you'd like to imagine. So I mean, obviously we did say the same last year. We thought we'd take ourselves above Shat.
Yeah.
Obviously the results didn't go away, but I don't know. I think it's just a wee bit of a different feeling going into Europe again under Rodgers, especially because we know he does have that sort of group stage win. Obviously, it was a couple of years ago against Anderlecht, but it does give you that wee sense of an extra boost. I think.
Yeah. Right.
I think it's a Europa League group, to be honest with you, in terms of the teams that are there, and you're seeing some of the Europa League teams that are more like Champions League teams. It's just the way that the league tables have transpired. If you were to look at that group a couple of years ago, I'd say that's a Europa League group. Yes, the teams are good. Feyenoord under Arne Slot are a good team. You know, we watched that PSV side totally dismantle Rangers. There was a team that were better than them in the Dutch league last season. So how good are they going to be? Atletico Madrid, you know, they're going to be organised under Simeone, scoring a lot of goals. I think they scored 7 goals in the one game last week against Rayo Vallecano, who are a decent side by all accounts. So, and then who's the other team?
Lazio. The snout master himself.
Yeah, Sarri's not really started well for them this season. Did they get the win against?
Yeah, and apparently they were brilliant.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's that out the window. Sarri's a good manager. He's won the Europa League before.
Robust. Yep, he has. Won it with Chelsea. That video was always dead cute. Like Wee's medal. Just like, oh.
I know. I
big man, you deserve a snout.
I did quite like Sarri, to be honest. I thought he'd get his pants pulled down by Kepa in that League Cup final. That was shocking. A shocking incident. But yeah, in terms of the names, I think it's more of a Europa League draw. I want Celtic to be disappointed with third in that group. I want them to be pushing for second. If they can't get second, then get third. Because I think a lot of these teams are going to take points off each other. It's going to be one of those topsy-turvy groups where I think maybe even the winner of the group will have, 7 or 8 points.
Yeah. Do you remember the guys off TikTok? They were, like a couple of years ago, they went viral, and it was, one of them was Portuguese, and he was giving it the proper pronunciation, and he was like, "João Bainha," and like, no mensch, you know, like that. Do you remember they guys? Like, I was seeing, I subscribed to him on YouTube because I quite like them, they're quite good. And the Portuguese guy was saying he thinks it's the underrated group of death. The way that it's kind of transpired, he thinks that anybody could finish. He thinks Atletico will take first, but anybody's up for grabs in second. And I think
I agree with that.
I agree with that. I think
when he said this finish indeed last, I was like,
no, that's the only reason I turned it on, because I was like, I want to see what he says about Celtic. I was like, I'm waiting, and he was like, so Atletico will win the group, absolutely, I've no doubt about that. Second place, I'm stuck between Celtic and Feyenoord. I was like, oh, how do you go, big man?
Celtic at Lazio at home in the second.
So the order of games, I believe, goes
Feyenoord away,
Lazio at home, Atletico at home, Atletico away, Lazio away and then Feyenoord at home.
Yeah, we'll see how we do after that first game. See if Celtic could sneak something in Feyenoord, a draw or a win, then you're in the driving seat.
Yep.
You know, but the crowd will be absolutely buzzing going to that Lazio game. It would have been even more. It would have been more tasty if they'd got Mason Greenwood in the door. Honestly, you know that would have been a feisty atmosphere. But yeah, get something against Feyenoord, get something in all your home games. You know. And let's see where we are. I just want Europe after Christmas, and I want Celtic to win a knockout tie. That is the reason why Brendan Rodgers is back at this football club, because he wants to improve things in Europe.
How good is it knowing that we'll have European football after Christmas next year? Because 2 of the group stage games are played in like late January.
Yeah.
So that'll be fantastic. Like everybody talks about Europe after Christmas, we'll have
It's
it.
a complete cop out for the board. Then they won't spend.
Oh,
They always get Europe after Christmas. That's what you're asking for.
Right, Cal's in as always. He said, has Rodgers been backed, Ryan?
I think he's been backed. I don't know if he's been fully backed.
Yeah.
I don't know if any manager is going to get fully backed due to the system that Celtic work with now. Celtic have got to keep themselves right as well as keep the manager happy. Rodgers seems happy enough with the players that he's brought in. He was in quite glowing terms about Bernardo and Luis Palma, and he knows Nat Phillips obviously. So yeah, as long as Rodgers is happy to work with that system, then I think the club is backing him. But you know, take it back a week and it felt as if there was fires going on everywhere in every phone around Scotland for a Celtic fan, because everybody was raging at the way the transfer window was going. They managed to pick it up a wee bit, but I still think there's a couple of positions that need improved on, and maybe Celtic are already in the process of finding those targets for January. On
that note, there's a lot of good questions that I'm not going to be able to fit them all in today. For example, Connor is asking our favourite Tesco meal deal combo, but we've been there. We'll update that though in a couple of weeks' time, because I'm sure everybody goes through phases of meal deals. But on that note, in regards to that, Calum, I'll come to you with this first. The Greg Taylor enthusiast says, even as a Greg Taylor fan, I can say that he's not been up to standard this season. His current form hasn't been good enough to you rating that we need a left back in January.
Definitely, I think. Obviously, there is still plenty of time for Greg Taylor to improve his performances, and I could very easily change 2 months down the line. I could change my answer then, but from the way he started this season, it's nowhere near as good as it was last year. It's quite worrying in a sense, because it was only a couple of games in the season, but also it's a bit annoying because you know he's got that level of talent behind him. It's just getting that out of him again.
Aye.
I would go as far to say it's worrying, I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it is.
I think his form's very alarming, because he's playing in a role that he has played for longer than the inverted fullback role. Now, you remember at the start of Ange Postecoglou's time, he was struggling to get into that role. It did take him 3 or 4 games to get into the inverted role, and then he was basically never present in the team. You're just hoping that's the same when he reverts back to a traditional fullback role, because he has played there under Kilmarnock and then under Lennon when Lennon signed him in 2019. But at the moment, I'm a bit concerned with that. He didn't have a good game again against Rangers. No. I don't think he was stinking the place out, but I think he had a really poor game. You know, there was a lot of things that just weren't coming off for him whatsoever. I actually think the best left back in the day was Bernabe when he came on for 20 minutes. I thought he knew his role. I don't even know if it was 20 minutes. Was it about 10?
I can't remember what minute he came on it, to be honest.
But he was a positive force. He was bringing the ball forward. I think he got the ball to O at one point. I might be making that up, actually. I'm not sure. It's been so long since I watched that game. I know it's only been like 2 or 3 days, but it feels like a lifetime ago. But from what I remember, Bernabe had quite a good cameo, and you're hoping that you can see more of that, especially at home. If there's a player in there, then my God, use him. Because, you know, 3.75, always talk about it. That's a lot of money for someone to be sitting on the bench.
Matthew's asked, any European trips planned? Ryan, you said you wanted to get in a couple this year. Are you going to try? You're leaving it?
I don't know. I actually slept in when the fixtures get announced.
That's why it's good to have somebody like Kieran Auld about that. Man had his alarms on. 7 o'clock, he was away with his bird and everything, but yeah, he had the alarms on. 7 o'clock in the morning, up, booking the flights. We've booked it. I don't know, obviously, Calum, your situation's a wee bit unclear at the minute, but yeah, we're meant to be going to Rome as far as we know.
Just Rome?
Just so far. Maybe Madrid. Definitely not Rotterdam.
Nah.
I'd love to go. I would love to go. The Coup's somewhere I've always wanted to go to, but I never see the point in going on these trips if I'm not guaranteed. You can't get a ticket in the home end at Feyenoord. It's just impossible, and I won't get an away ticket. So I'm not going to start about Rotterdam for a couple of days and waste money. There's no point. So
Mature of you.
aye, maybe a few years ago, maybe when I was like 18, but no.
Where's the final getting played?
Wembley.
Get a ticket for them.
The same Skarski's house
Or where's the European one? Is it?
Dublin.
Oh,
I can't even. They had a good chance to just like go all out this year. I think they just did an all of them and like maybe put the Conference League in. If they try to keep it smaller stadiums, they've got numerous small stadiums they could have picked, but maybe even like Windsor Park or Cardiff City Stadium or I don't know, Easter Road or something. You know what I mean? Like they should just went all in and put them all in the UK.
That'd be great. Yeah.
But I think the Conference League finals in Athens. So quite a distance for Dublin and London. It's in Athens
Celtic
this year.
Can't go in the Conference League.
Yeah.
I do. I've been tussling back and forth with that rule. I'm quite glad that fourth place is like an elimination spot in whatever tournament that you play.
Yeah.
Because you could easily just get a drop down for every team. Then,
But this is the last year with drop downs.
yeah, and there are some positives and negatives with that. But at least you know that a team that has started in the Champions League, Europa League, or Conference League, they will get to they were at the start and then they'll get to the end. You know that they've won it fair and square because they've progressed up the table.
Yep. I'm looking forward to the Swiss format. I really am.
Yeah, me too.
I think it'll be better. I honestly, I genuinely do believe that. The way that I like to look at it is, you're drawn in a group, right? And say you're drawn against Real Madrid. Right there and then, you know that's 2 defeats. You're not going to beat Real Madrid. Home or away, chances not going to happen. In this new format, you play 8 different teams and you play them once. So if you draw a Real Madrid, right, okay, that's 3 points. But you might make up for it with another game elsewhere.
That's really exciting, actually.
Much better. Much better.
Like, oh, we could beat them in the home game, but maybe in the away game. With the home games, it could be anyone that you play in the away games. You could suddenly have a really like.
You could get imagine your like 4 home games turned out to be like the teams for pot 3 and 4.
Is there still pots?
Yeah, but it's not. I'm still unclear on how the draw is going to work. So there still is pots.
Far in Football Manager that you do play it, and it's quite exciting.
But I've never seen how the draw actually works. How they determine which teams that you're going to play. I'm still unsure, but I think it's 2 teams for pot 1, 2 teams for pot 2, 2 teams for pot 3, and then you're set of Celtic if they're in pot 4, and another team for pot 4.
That's quite exciting.
Just
do it this season.
No, just bring everybody up. Anyway, right. God. Are you very proud of that? Is that one of the proudest Derby performances that you've seen based on form, being underdogs, etc., says McSpaff?
I think between that and the 3-2 game, for me, you're down to 10 men.
Aye.
And you come back and get that result. That's... I don't really want to take it away from the players, but good performance, done what they had to start 3 guns.
I think it's Brendan Rodgers' breakthrough game as Celtic manager. I know he's not getting that much to choose from at this moment in time. But this is the result I think that will galvanise him in the support. Yes, there was some unsavoury scenes, and I said at the time after that St Johnstone game, you know, the Green Brigade are well within their rights to make that show of disapproval, because they still pay the same amount of money as everyone else. They've got every right to give their opinion, good or bad. But I'm just hoping now that there's a bit of unity with that result.
Yeah.
I know there still will be frostiness between Brendan Rodgers and the Green Brigade. That might always remain there. It might take a couple of trophies to
fully mend that.
But I'd like to see him try. You know, I really like to see him try. But in terms of results, I think it's the most proud I've been since, especially in like a Glasgow derby, since the 2-1 game, the one that Carter Vickers.
Oh yeah, the league winner.
Yeah, the essential league winner where Starfelt and Carter Vickers really announced themselves. But I think those games really do build a team. The Ibrox ones do galvanise a team and make them stronger. And I think you will see the results of that in the coming weeks.
Right, I'm going to aim for 3 more and then end off the show, because I think, are we near that hour mark now?
Just hit it.
Just
hit an hour. Woohoo. I mean, there's still a couple of minutes carried over because we spoke about a shite at the start. So, we'll get a silly one out the way here. Kieran 1888, what's the nicest thing out of Greg's?
Actually, quite like a steak bake now, but they're messy.
Aye, crumbs.
No, just the gravy that comes out of a steak.
True. Do you know what I had the other day that I never knew? I don't know if it's new. It was like a tandoori chicken.
Mate,
Baguette.
Phenomenal.
Is it new?
No, it's
Is
been
it?
hanging for a while.
I got it the other day. I've never seen it
That's
before.
what my answer was
Is
going to
it-
be.
is it banging, man? Banging.
Quite continental, Greg, something there.
Aye. See, I went to the spa the day, right? And I was like, I went to the spa. I went in and they have this brand new state of the art. I think it's called like G's or Geos or something like that. And it's got, so one party, it's like chicken, popcorn, chicken, chips, wedges, stuff like that, and a hot counter. Then it's another hot counter with your pies. They've got killie pies, the Brownings killie pies, the proper ones, pies, pastries, yada yada. Then they've got baguettes and pieces, and then they've got cakes and tarts. And I was like, what's going on here? Spars, the same spar that apparently Celtic fans got battered at the other day.
So I've seen the video, aye.
Battered, God's sake. I didn't see one punch flown between anybody. I was I was down at the spa. Legend has it that I was standing with the snout just watching.
There's nothing more welcoming than a spa in a foreign country, like in Tenerife.
But you know what I love? Half of them aren't even real spas. Like half of them have just shoved up the spa sign. They're like, that's a spa. It's a spa, this.
They make you feel welcome.
Aye.
I know you.
The one right beside our hotel in Maga was a cracking spa, yeah.
Was it an actual spa?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Could have been further off one.
No. Spar selling bongs? No, I don't think so. No. Hax's grills are Palma's braces.
Palma's braces.
Still a grill, man.
That guy's actually going to do some work.
I've got it.
Palma's actually going to do some work, some tracking back. This man's here to work.
Listen,
I guess
when
we
Haxa came into this club, you were going stark and mad.
Absolutely, but that was all in the prefix of a football manager career. You know, I was excited about this guy.
Listen, he's going to go to Stoke this year. He's going to tear it up, and then we're going to have no choice but to play him.
A cold Tuesday night.
Aye, and we're going to have no choice but to play him next season because he's
More
going to.
haircuts and good performances.
Right.
Let's see Palma.
To be fair, like in all honesty, because I know people will be wanting to know, and here I've not really spoke about it on my channel because I've not had the time to. But the post that he put on Insta is like, you've got to get. It's just attitude's not there. As much as I love him, as much as I wanted to work out for him at Celtic, it's no easy to sit back and say that you still want all that when they're posting like that in social media. So I do hope that the loan move works out for him, and maybe, who knows, maybe he'll come back with his head clear, but I doubt he's ever going to play for Sellik again, to be honest. Anyway,
O was getting caught in the crossfire of that. I'm like, O's actually in the photo. He's taking a picture of himself.
was he tagging it?
I actually don't know. I'll need to double check that, but it was more Vata and Bernabeu that were liking the post. I'm like, translation only goes you some way, only goes you a bit of the way. You can still press Google Translate and copy and paste. You know what's getting said.
And that's when I'm going to wrap it up, because a lot of the questions are similar to ones we've already had and answered today. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you to everybody. If your questions weren't asked, obviously just keep tuning in. Each week we'll try and get you involved. But that brings us to the end of the show. We're back on top, boys. Feels good.
Feels good, yeah.
Feels good.
Well, we're joint top. Motherwell. I'll get the same amount of points.
But like we're just back on top and like.
I feel like we're on TSF though, talking about.
That's it I said since.
Today, my dad was like, what's the name of the Hearts manager? I was like, I don't know. What were you saying there, Calum?
I was saying because that's obviously I said delivery quiz. Obviously, CSF. I couldn't ask them actually properly.
I genuinely can't remember the name of the Hearts manager. It's just such a generic name.
What's his face?
Who?
Obviously, it was Naismith.
But it's
McAvoy, Frankie McAvoy.
Exactly.
There's
the
three
badge
of them.
is sick.
There's three of them though. It's like assistant to the regional manager. It's amazing. But now that Hearts are out of Europe, I know this is turning into TSF. Now Naismith can be the manager because they're not playing in Europe anymore. They're out of Europe altogether.
Oh, really?
So he can assume that role. Wee bit awkward that Frankie McAvoy's sitting there. And, he's like, and now he's just going to go back into the shadows.
He knows what he signed up to. But that's it. Ryan, thanks for joining this afternoon or this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
Callum, thank you.
The very same. Thanks for having us.
And Ryan, I hope you have a good birthday.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully.
I'm a year older.
Aye. So we'll be back hopefully to preview the game against Dundee and such. So that's over a week away. So have a good week.
International break.
Scotland v England.
Tuesday, innit?
By half time they could be qualified for Europe.
Yep, that's right. I'll be singing the Soldier song. Sorry, Player of Scotland. Loud and proud. So like and subscribe. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and I'll see you all next time.